Welcome to episode 2 of the Kilted Kickoff with myself, Dan, and my lovely co-host, Murray. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. We've been at the rugby. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited. Like the buzz about the Kilted Kickoff is here, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm very happy. How are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, good. I was in Edinburgh again today. Yeah, it was good to be about. Great to be at the rugby yesterday and get the win. It was long overdue for Edinburgh, and I think when we talked about Paddy Harrison after the game, he seemed more than a little relieved to have gotten the win. So it was all good.
Was absolutely. Where do you want to start then? Where shall we start?
Right, so let's look at the URC.
Of course.
What did you think of the weekend's games?
Yeah. Interesting.
Other than the Edinburgh one, did you manage to capture the other games?
I've seen a lot of the games actually. I managed to catch up quite a lot, and yeah, this URC it's tightly contested. There's a lot of chopping and changing already, and I'm excited by each game. Doesn't seem like a write-off already, so I'm quite excited by that.
No. I'm shocked at how up and down the South African team's performances have been. They seem to be almost unbeatable at home, but they don't travel well. But it's the same when we go to them.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to get over that, because it's almost like when you travel to South Africa, 80% of the time the South African teams win it.
Yep.
But when they come up north, they walk away with very few points. So
I think it's because, and I know it's not the best excuse, but I know that a lot of the South African teams, when they tour up north, they leave a lot of the big boys behind.
Yeah.
But it's not a great excuse, and the track record isn't great. But it is what it is. I understand why they do it, because every player welfare and they all deserve a break, but it's trying to balance that out.
Yeah, no, I get it. The South Africans, so the ones that have really surprised me is the Lions. Like I had them, bottom 4 pre-season.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, look, this was before the run on the Currie Cup and everything. But just going on it, I had them bottom 4 at the start of the season, and they've come out the blocks firing, spanked us. And most other people. I mean, I know they only scraped past the Dragons. Was that today? Was it they played the Dragons?
Oh, today, yeah, beat the Dragons. But again, we went away from home.
So them and Cardiff as well. They're a team. I thought all the Welsh regions were really, really going to struggle. I think Cardiff are looking right strong this season. I'm actually a little bit nervous for next week's game against them.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Don't worry about it. Talk about all the wins this week.
Yeah. Okay. So should we start with Glasgow then? Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they were first this week, so
makes sense. Home champions. And have a look. What do you think of the game considering?
I think it was considering you spoke about it during the week that they don't go full whack. It's like a 70-80%, and then they let the youngsters get some game time, and it works. 33 points to 3. The fortress of Scotland, as I call it, because their run there is sensational. Hugh Jones on the double. Love Shuggy for that. Jamie Dobie, I said it in my video on TikTok, it doesn't matter if he's a scrum half or the wing, he's getting over that whitewash, so fair play to you and Fairway. Really putting his hand up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just on Dobie, just before we move on to the next bit, is I think it's a bit of a cheat code having him on the park sometimes, because he can play wing, but because Glasgow like to play such a fast and expansive game, if the scrum half gets taken out, they've got 2 scrum halves on the park at any given moment, so it's just with them, it's go, and that's something I don't think I fully appreciated about Dobie, especially like last season when they played him on the wing. I was like, what are they doing that for? But now seeing it, I get it. It was something I didn't quite clock last season, but it's a really good weapon to have.
It's almost like an extra sub in a way. That's the way I see it. Because does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. No, it does. It definitely does. Especially if you have a player that can play more than one position, it's always good to have.
100%.
I looked at the when the squads came out, it didn't hit me how much players they rested. But then after the game, I thought, look, no Josh Mackay, right? Sanu Tuipulotu wasn't playing. Kyle Stein wasn't playing. Tom Jordan wasn't playing. Matt Fagerson wasn't playing. Rory Sutherland wasn't playing. Richie Gray wasn't playing. So they've some big names. And I get it, it's Zebre, but they won the game 33-3, right?
Yeah.
And they had 2 tries chopped off.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Glasgow Warriors were in cruise control in about third gear. I mean, they didn't get up to full whack, and I know it's Zebre they're playing, but Zebre have come out the blocks a lot stronger this year. Like, they put Munster to the sword. And I think they could do 1 or 2 other teams this season as well.
That'll be interesting. Zebra's a really weird team to really put your finger on, because like you just said, they beat Munster, but then they've been smashed the last 2 weeks. So, you know what I mean? It's a tricky one. But you know what? Fair play to Glasgow. Wasn't the most perfect game, like you said, third gear, maybe at a push, fourth gear, but it was just everywhere. Johnny Matthews and Grant Stewart scoring both from the line-out maul. I love that. So that's obviously just a set play in Glasgow's books that just works, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's such a powerful weapon to have. And it's so simple. They don't have to do anything complicated. It's really, really route one. I'd like to see Scotland adopt it going into the Six Nations, because if Glasgow can use it, so can Scotland. And if it's such an easy source of tries, like I think about it from the opposition's point of view. Glasgow get a penalty at the 22 and they put it in the corner. You know what's coming. It's just being able to stop it. And you know, playing Glasgow, I bet you that 80% of the training must be right. This is how we defend a driving maul.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know who else impressed me? And I've spoken about him quite a fair bit on TikTok with you personally. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Stafford McDowell. And I know it's not easy for him because Sione Tuipulotu, best centre in the world right now. Hugh Jones is really putting in that shift now. Rory Hutchinson down south is doing good. But Stafford McDowell, every time he plays, standout performer. And he's got leadership qualities already, which is
he does.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's so powerful. Like, he passes the gain line every single time he gets the ball. He's such a he's about 6'4", 6'5". You know, he's a boy like. It's just a shame that he plays in the same position as Sione Tuipulotu. It's quite hard to get past him. I'd like to almost. Can he play any other positions, or can he only play?
I think he's just 12 or 13. I don't know. I've not actually ever seen him play any other position. So
yeah. So it's a tough one, but I mean, they just look so strong at the moment. I was looking at their fixtures, and they finish up with Leinster as their last game of the regular season, and that could be the one. You know, it's at the RDS, or I don't know if it'll be the RDS. It might be the Aviva. It depends where Leinster decide they want to play it, but I think that'll be the game. You know, Leinster versus Glasgow.
I like it.
I had Glasgow versus Munster as my final. When the season kicked off, after seeing that game at Croke Park.
There's still so many rounds to go. It's really hard, especially the way the URC finished the last season. It's really hard to calm down on who's finishing where and who's going into the playoffs. But yeah, Glasgow showing why they're the champions for a reason and doing well at that. I mean, they've got a lot of young lads coming through. I'd expect, with the news that happened today, I imagine you and Ferry's really in that conversation now as well. But we'll go into that more.
I think he'll go against Fiji. I expect him to get a call up. I think he'll be hard done by if he doesn't go against Fiji.
See, I know we'll probably dive into it a little bit, but how strong do you intend on going against Fiji? Do you know what I mean? That's another question, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. I mean, just before we look to Glasgow's next game against the Sharks, what do you think of Darge's start to the season?
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm not. I'm feel like I'm already at a broken record. I'm just saying that every player is good. They are doing very well, and they're a stacked team. No, Rory Darge, proper showing why he was picked as like co-captain last season in Scotland, and he's just got better. And he's a big lad. He's got the workhorse in him, pace for days. He's strong. Yeah, he is the full package, and it's great to see, and I'm all for it.
I'm going to ask you quite a difficult question about him later on in the pod when we get to Scotland, but
I'll
keep that to later. Okay. So look, one last thing on Glasgow. We'll look ahead to the next game before we move on to Edinburgh. So they travel to South Africa, but Scotland is going to call up their training squad any day now. How important this title defence is for Glasgow, but internationals take priority. How many of the internationals do you think are actually going to travel to South Africa, or are they just going to try to win it with kids? But then again, if they do send down their kids like Ferry, I feel quite hard.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's a tough one because what you could do, in theory, is essentially go full whack to South Africa for the Sharks and for the Stormers. Have pretty much just Edinburgh with a couple of like the fresher talent, shall we say, against Fiji. And then after the Fiji game, you get squad update. Sione Hugh, blah, 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 is now in the Scotland team with X, Y, and Z now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's a good way to do it.
Maybe. Like, I think there's one or two. Like, I probably...
Or... No, because that's stupid as well, because it's a travelling squad. I was going to say even, like, split the squad for Glasgow. So, like...
Sorry, go on.
I was going to think, like, Sione, Hugh, Kyle Steyn, Kyle Rowe, Adam Hastings, George Horn against the Sharks, and then have, like, Dobie, Tom Jordan, Stafford McDowell, Facundo Cordero, etc. against the Stormers, or the other way around.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. You could maybe go down to South Africa and play. I think they've got two games. Is it the Sharks first and the Stormers after, is it?
I believe that's so. Yeah.
So you could go full noise against the Sharks, and if you get the win there, you could pull some of the Scotland players out, a week early, send them back to Scotland, because there will be
a lot of knocking around though. There's a lot of travelling in there, so who knows?
I think they'll probably want to protect some of their better players. Like I assume that Darge and Tui Pelotu and Matt Fagerson, Dempsey probably won't travel.
Probably.
Because Scotland will be targeting that game against South Africa second up. The last thing you want to do is have an injury going into it.
100%.
So, and will the Springboks be back for the Sharks, or are they still going to be rested? Because
honestly, I don't
play with it.
I haven't a clue. The way South African franchises, I think it's just up to them at the end of the day. It's really weird how they operate, and yeah, I don't know. I imagine they'll probably go a few Springboks in the game, especially at home. Get that game rust off them from the rugby champ. I know the rugby championship wasn't so long ago, but even still, get them just up and running a little bit, and then I don't know. It's tricky because they also could just easily go full whack quite easily. Like, oh yeah, we're back home, so all the Boks are playing, but
yeah. Because that would be interesting, because if most of the Boks are playing for the Sharks, and if Glasgow went full noise, we could have a little taster of what Scotland versus South Africa in the autumn could be.
And if Glasgow can move the one, I'm just saying, it's possible.
Like possible, definitely. But look, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know when the travelling squad gets announced, but I know they're flying out on Tuesday, so I assume we should hear about it by tomorrow.
Probably Monday or Tuesday morning. Yeah, fly out. Yeah.
I heard they were saying post-match. I think it was Josh Mackay saying They fly out on Tuesday, so we should hear by Monday at the latest.
It'll be an interesting team anyway. So
yeah. Okay, let's move back to the capital. You and I, I think you're excited for this one. You and I were at the Stormers game, all weather's coming, and we were out in the open, not under the gazebo, probably my fault, lining up to get a beer before the match started, made us a wee bit late. But
oh yeah, Mister, I'm going for a drink at 5:10 for a 5:15 kickoff. Very good.
Yeah. I enjoyed myself.
That's fine then. That's the main thing.
I enjoyed myself. I didn't enjoy myself when I popped off for 2 seconds and John Barclay rolled past.
Yes, I love that. So for those that don't know, Dan, like the minute I hit half-time, Dan went, cool, I went to the toilet and I'm going to get another drink. I was like, yeah, no worries. And I didn't think anything was going to happen because it's half-time. You get a half-time entertainment. But nothing, so me and Dan stand at the Murrayfield stand, like we're behind the goals. Nothing really happens there for the most part. But no, former Scotland international, former Glasgow Warrior and Edinburgh player, John Barclay decides to walk past and I get a photo opportunity and Dan missed it all. So,
yeah. He just came back and just showed me this with a smug grin on his face.
You have to be smug when you meet John Barclay. It's great. And,
yeah, well done.
Yeah, but the game, I'm so glad we got a win. And not only that, we did it in style. 38-7.
Yeah, 38-7. I'm not going to lie, I'm glad we hung on at half-time because after they got that first one back, there was the last 5-10 minutes of the first half where I thought I'm not sure if it crept into your mind. I was like, oh no. It was just like the momentum had swung in their favour and we were trying to hold on till half-time, and I felt like if they had gotten that try before half-time, we could have been in trouble. But I'm so glad that we hold on because, we hammered them in the end, and it was the response they needed. I thought Edinburgh we were going to win it by about 3, but not 31. So, big response. And Stormers are no pushovers. I know people go, oh yeah, but not a lot of the box were there. They're the former champions. I mean, they're a tough team. They're one of the teams that are, they expect, their fan base expect to be challenging for the URC. So that's a statement.
A lot of Stormers fans, actually. I did notice that at the game. There was a lot of Stormers flags and a lot of Stormers jerseys. So,
I wonder how many of them were travelling support, how many of them, just lived in the area. Because, there was there's a few of them.
There was?
Yeah.
But, hey, we did well. And it was awesome to watch. Like, you were on about how close it was at the first half, but our defence, oh my God, that was unreal. That was sensational work ethic.
Yeah. It really was. Who stood out for you?
Player of the match, Ben Muncaster. Oh my God. I said it after the Leinster game that because we all know Ben's history with injuries and how unfortunate he's been. If Ben Muncaster could stay fit, he's in that Scotland team. He's stayed fit. He's been one of our top performers. And granted, I know the results haven't gone our way until now, but you still have to look at the positives sometimes. Ben Muncaster has been that positive. And the first try especially, like the wheels on him to break through half the Stormers' backline. Fair play, big man. Love that.
Yeah. I mean, very Darge-esque, I thought, that try. Darge does the same sort of thing, but the thing is, he's bigger than Darge. So,
I don't know if he's bigger than Darge.
I think he is.
You know what? Yeah, let's just say
but he's versatile in that. But Muncaster's a big lad, like.
And I know this was your maybe not issue, but I know that like Muncaster hasn't played much at 7. It's usually 6 or 8 predominantly.
Yeah,
he's shown that he can do it all now, so like that's fine. I'm not worried where you stick Muncaster in that back row because he's good enough.
Could we see Muncaster and Ferry maybe for the Fiji game?
Oh, I'd love that. Either maybe not starting together, but even have one off the bench coming on for the other. Get them both capped. I love that. Both young lads. They are the future of our back row. I also want to talk about possibly the future of our hooker position. And he's very humble.
He was my pick out for this game. I was like, oh, I wanted to come on to him. I thought Paddy Harrison was fantastic, and he's been on the fringes. I think of playing for Scotland for a while. He's not had a cap yet, has he? Or has he had one?
Yeah, no, he got captain in the summer.
Oh, okay, right. So, but he's been sort of a breakthrough talent for a while.
Oh yeah.
I think with Turner moving to Japan and Ashman getting injured. I mean, Johnny Matthews has to be the number one choice for us at the moment, but behind us right now, you'd think it could be Harrison.
Harrison, especially for Fiji, because it's outside the international window. And then I imagine it'll be Harrison, Richardson battling it out for. Not trying to sound.
I don't think Richardson's available for Fiji. Like Richardson, class player, got a lot of respect from him, and I think he'll do fantastic things for us. But I don't think he can play in the Fiji game.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think going after that game, sorry, I might have worded that wrong. That after that, it'll probably be like Matthews at 2, Harrison versus Richardson for the 16 jersey. But either way, I'm good for that. That's exciting as well.
Yeah. And even if they share the responsibility of it, the experience he'll have and just being in the camp, and I think with Ashman being out injured, he's going to want to claim that spot for himself.
Oh yeah,
he's not going to want to give that back to Ashley when he gets back.
Actually, and again, it's shown hooker depth, but I don't think he'll need more game time at Edinburgh first. But even still, came off the bench against the Stormers and didn't do bad. He did quite well. Harry Morris,
okay,
young lad. Yeah, I'm very excited by him. He'll probably be, I imagine, like next season. So I think that's fair. I think he'll get more chances next season. He'll get like sporadic appearances here and there this season. But yeah, Paddy Harrison, Ben Muncaster, Masesi Tuipuotu.
Yeah, that was one of the first games other than pre-season where he's really starting to show glimpses now. I thought he had a really good game. I think he's got a lot of confidence he needs to build yet. And I'm hoping especially if we beat Cardiff next week, that'll start to grow and grow. I think there's a bit of unfair expectation on him because of who his brother is.
Yeah, naturally,
I expect Scotland to call him up just to cap him. And if performances suit it, he might hold down the spot. But I do expect him probably to play against Fiji, but I'm not sure if he'll play I doubt he'll play the South Africa test. But
no, I don't see him playing South Africa. I could see him playing off the bench against Fiji, maybe start against Portugal. Definitely be in the Scotland A for the Chile game. I imagine that would be his setup for the autumn. But there was a bit I heard. Obviously, you can't hear it at the game because you don't hear any commentary. I do this really weird thing. Any game I'm at, I watch the highlights or watch the TV coverage when I'm getting home. It's just something I've always done in case I've missed something or whatever. Or try to stuff on TV because I'm not vain. The Darcy Graham try.
Yeah.
It was actually Masesi Tuipuotu that told you could see him shouting at Ross Thompson, come round. So I think Ali Price was still on. So Ali to Masesi, quick draw over to Thompson, and then the big loop over to Darce.
Really, I missed that.
There you go. That's why you watch the TV stuff. I'm sure it was John Barclay that said it as well. It's similar to what Sione does. Sione pulls the strings, makes the calls. And Glasgow, Masesi took a shot at that, and it worked.
Tell you who I think has also been really good for Edinburgh this season, and it's probably not enough credit yet. Ross Thompson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think even though we lost the opening game against Leinster, right? He started for it and he bossed it against Leinster. When we went to South Africa, we played the Lions. When we were getting hammered, at half time, when Healy went off and Thompson came on, fortune started to change. The Stormers, he started again. So I think that he's got a brighter future than what we initially thought. I mean, he wasn't a Franco Smith player, and we thought that he might have just been done because he was just told that he wasn't up to the standard that he wanted. But he's really, whatever he's done, he's buckled down and turned his fortunes around.
It says a lot about Ross Thompson coming into a new team under a new setup and essentially pushed Ben Healy out of the team. Because if you don't, for those that don't know, Ben Healy was playing for Edinburgh A this week, and to me, Edinburgh A is, let's have the young lads out that aren't quite first team ready yet, or you've just returned from injury. Like Harry Patterson. Harry Patterson's just back from injury and played for Edinburgh A, so that's great. That means Harry Patterson's probably going to be in the Matchday 23 next week for Cardiff. That's awesome news, because I love a bit of Harry Patterson. But to have Ben Healy essentially demoted down, that's an eye-opener.
We've talked about this off air, that when Sean Everett was on PPC's one podcast, that he said that players that continue to make mistakes, he won't allow them to wear the Edinburgh jersey. And there's notable changes. Cherry was out. Healy's gone to A, and look, Healy, when you hear him interviewed, he's a really, really competitive guy, and I'm sure he'll be pushed himself harder than ever, because he's gone from winning the URC by Munster to now being demoted to Edinburgh A. So I'm hoping he'll have the bit between his teeth, because he's got all the the raw attributes to be a fantastic 10. It's just I don't know what's happened, if it's confidence or something. It's just like something hasn't clicked for him this season.
The first few games when we first got Ben Healy, I thought he was a bit of an impatient 10.
Okay.
So one phase, that's the play, you're doing that, whatever that is, whatever the play was. It doesn't work, so you just kicked it, and I'm like, calm down. Try again. Try 2 or 3 more attempts at it. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
he did that quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, then it kind of calmed down, and we changed the game plan, and it became a lot of kick for the sticks, which suits Ben Healy very well. Top point scorer in the URC by a fair bit last season.
But that's because part of that was because Edinburgh wasn't really going. They went to what Glasgow were doing, kicking to the corner every time. Their tactic was just get yourself in head every time they got a penalty. They go for the sticks because they banked the 3.
But speaking of that, how many times did Edinburgh up for the sticks against the Stormers? Twice. And that was at the end of the game.
Yeah. And that was the right call at the end of the game. You were at that point you were 30, or was it? I can't remember what they were. There was something mental up, and it was about 35. 7 up, a couple of minutes to go. Yeah, of course you're going to go for the sticks. I do take your point about Healy being an impatient player. I thought when that game that we lost against Leinster, when he went for the drop goal and he missed it and he got it straight back and he went for a drop goal a second time. I think they were charged down the second time, and then he went for a crossfield kick and put it out on the full. It got back to him, immediately went for another crossfield kick, and he was trying to force the game, and because of his impatience, it's not all his fault, but there was moments where you just slow down, take your time. 10 minutes in rugby is a long time. So no, that's a good point on him. But nice to see.
I'm not dissing him. I do like Ben Healy, and I do hope that this competition. I always think the competition will bring out the best in players. So I do hope that does remain true, because you don't want to see your best players in the A's. Without being disrespectful to the A team, and it's there for a reason.
Yeah, it's there for a reason, and you definitely want to. Well, people that play for Edinburgh, or the players that play for Edinburgh, you want to say, okay, who's this lad? Have a bit of spark about them, and who's the next up and coming. It is quite sad, unless it's injury related, that you see, someone with the skill set that Ben Healy has. Play for the A's. If he was out injured for a long time and they were trying to ease him back into it, that's different. But just 100%. To go down, I get you have to do it. Everyone has to pay their dues. If they're off form, it's okay, look, you've lost a bit of confidence, go here, hone your skills for a couple of weeks and come back better than you left. So I'm hoping that's sort of the route that they go with him.
Fingers crossed. We'll find out soon.
Yeah. Do you think he'll start against Cardiff next week? or
No.
do you think they'll stick with Thompson?
Just to really just criticize, just flip what I've just said there and hope that he gets back in the team. Yeah, no, I'm starting Ross Thompson.
Yeah, it's Thompson doesn't deserve to lose the 10 shirt at the moment. He's got a firm hold of it, and you know what? That's good. I like the battle for the 10 jersey. It's like the same if you look over to Glasgow, like Tom Jordan isn't stepping aside for Hastings.
No.
So Thompson's come in and said, look, I'm not here to be second fiddle.
Sorry, just to continue about the position challenge competition thing. Not 10, but I'm really glad Ali Price put in a bit of a display against the Stormers. There was a bit more of the Ali Price that we know, that we love, that we know that he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like that little break, I think it was like 10 minutes in. Granted, there was no one with him, but he still got about 15, 20 metres gain just because of the, right, let's go. And that's what Ali Price is. He is a sniper 9.
Yeah, and we were talking about it in the stands that he went from being the best 10 for the British and Irish Lions to really, really struggling, and it was great to see, Price back. I think him and Thompson's game complement each other quite well.
They do,
I think Vellacott's game complements Healy, but Price and Thompson, they complement each other quite well, and I'd be happy to see them start again for Cardiff. Although I would also like to see Ben Vellacott start, because I really, really rate him.
I do like Ben Vellacott as well. So it's tricky. There's no wrong answer, really, but it's going to be exciting to see who starts against Cardiff next week.
Tell you what surprises me about Price, right? When I spoke to him after the game to ask him what hair gel he uses.
I can't believe you did that.
So we bumped into Ali Price after the game, and I'd heard somewhere years ago, I think it must have been one of the behind the scenes with the Lions sort of thing. They used to use this sort of like special powder in his hair to keep it from going all over the place. I was like, what was it that you used? Somebody said this once. Is this BS? He was like, nah, mate, this is just like standard L'Oreal stuff.
Standard L'Oreal. He's had the same haircut for that long now. His hair just knows what to do. I love that. Fair play.
Yeah.
We're on to winning ways now. So
yeah, I mean, with Cardiff coming, right, this is going to be a tricky one. This might be one of the hardest games that Edinburgh have, because Cardiff will see themselves as equals to Edinburgh. Like, they've come out of the block firing. They went toe to toe with Glasgow for a lot of the game, and it wasn't until the last 15 minutes when Glasgow played them that they started to pull away. I know Glasgow went ahead first, and then it got to 36-40, and you're thinking, oh no, but they did that well to get back into it, and they put almost everyone else to the sword. So, in saying that, didn't they lose to the Scarlets this weekend?
They did, yeah. They did those switcheroo. They beat the Scarlets away from home, and then lost to the Scarlets at home. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all comers. This is where me and you are very different. You're like, oh, I'm concerned about this game, and I'm like, bring it on, let's go.
I think it's more of a right. Where do I think we're going to go here? I do expect Edinburgh to win, but I put them both in the same bracket. Like, I expect both Edinburgh and Cardiff to make the playoffs, but I don't expect them to get home quarterfinals. They're going to finish in that 5th to 8th spot somewhere, both of them. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. I love to see it. Look, there's one more thing that I want to ask you, and then we'll move on to the Prem, right?
Okay.
What do you think of Duhan potentially leaving us, going out to Ronan O'Gara and La Rochelle?
It actually doesn't bother me as much. Genuinely. So from a Scotland point of view, go for it. Because look how well Blair Kinghorn's doing. Look how well Finn was when he went to France.
Not having control over him during the Six Nations, when he has to go back.
It's not a deal breaker, because they come back.
The rest weeks from not this Six Nations coming, but the year after, aren't they? They're getting rid of the the rest weeks.
I believe so. Yeah, so it wouldn't really make a difference then. But from a Scotland point of view, go for it. Your game will improve so much because top 14 is a more competitive level, arguably.
No, I don't get that. Like the top four.
Larissa just got absolutely whacked by Bayonne, so they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, like it's just. I think with the top 14, people go, "Oh, it's the best league in the world." I
don't think it's the best league. So, well, right, okay, not the league, but for Europe, then you're playing better competition in Europe.
Yeah,
which will come in handy.
Are better.
Yeah, it'll come in handy there. It'll definitely benefit the national team. And this is the bit that annoys me. I love Duhan. I absolutely love Duhan van der Merwe. Edinburgh doesn't use him properly. How many times were you shouting it yesterday? At the start,
like unmarked out on the wing, like even the player next to him wasn't marked, and even if they were to get someone across to him, you know,
good luck him, yeah.
He's built up a head of steam by then, and he's about an inch away from the try line. He'll just barrel you over. But
it's like I love Duhan. What they do with him at Scotland, awesome. A highlight reel near enough every week.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for Edinburgh, spotlight's on Darcy Graham. What can Darcy do? Give Darcy the ball. I'm like, Duhan's right there. I love both of them, and you need to kind of balance it. Like the Leinster game, Duhan got 2 tries, and they were both well worked because they let him in the game, and yet didn't let him in the game. So people are like, "Oh, he's inconsistent." He's not. It's not his fault. He's not getting the ball.
Yeah, no, that's it. Definitely, like that's one of my biggest frustrations with Edinburgh. I feel like they've got some of the best wingers in world rugby, and it's just like they don't utilize them sometimes.
Use both of them all the time, please.
Yeah, more often. Just give it to them constantly.
If Duhan wants to go to La Rochelle, crack on. All the best to him. I imagine it would work out well. Ronald Gar's a good coach. They've got a stacked team around them. Yeah. They'd utilise them properly. We'd get him back for Scotland. I think that's the main thing. That it's not like he's leaving us completely. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd like to see us, go deep in Europe. I said to you at the start of the season, months before it started, as soon as the pools were drawn, I think Edinburgh can win the Challenge Cup this year. Yeah, I saw even that. I mean, it's hard to see who'll drop down. Like when I went through it, I thought that Ulster might have been the team we might have had to worry about, that they could have dropped down and then met us in the final. But looking at the way that they've started, if we were to meet Ulster at the moment, no disrespect to them, but it's not a team that I'd fear.
You shouldn't have to fear.
Yeah, it's just who drops out from that pool of death.
No, it's going to be interesting who drops out. Yeah. But if we do well enough before that, we don't have to really deal with who drops down until.
Yeah, well, until we get to the final. But Edinburgh, like John Barclays has set up, or for the URC, well, for Premier Sports, but he's talking about the URC. Edinburgh are such a well-funded side. At some point, they have to start, proving it.
Yep.
I'm starting to think that Mike Blair might have been, a bit hard done by after seeing, because they've had multiple coaches come in now and they've struggled. I'm hoping that Everett started to turn it around and this isn't just a one-off. So I'm really hoping that, they'll kick on and they'll, kick Cardiff to the curb.
There we go. We're actually agreeing this episode's strange. We're agreeing. We're not disagreeing on anything.
No,
really.
No. Let's move on to Prem then. Who do you think's got the hand up for Scotland Derby weekend?
Who's put their hand up?
Yeah.
Was Josh Bayliss.
Yes.
Fantastic against Gloucester. Great try. And again, like I was speaking about Ewan Ferry earlier, because of what happened to Andy Christie today, that opportunity is wide open. And obviously, hope Andy comes back stronger than ever. Hope you have a speedy recovery, because that I've showed you the picture, Dan. That was horrible.
Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely horrible.
I'm not a squeamish person.
But yeah, his foot was back to front.
Yeah, what was it I said to you? His heel was where his toes are meant to be.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's horrible. I don't like saying that, but yeah. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, but he's not playing the Autumn.
Yeah, he's out for the rest of the year.
He's out for the Autumn. He might come back. I don't know how bad it is. He might be back for the Six Nations. I doubt it.
Yeah, and even if he is, it'll take him a while, which is a shame because, in my opinion, I think Andy Christie might be the best back row option that Scotland have. Like when he didn't get used enough last year and last Six Nations, but when he did, he always looked so impressive every time he played. I think going forward, Christie's probably, the future. I mean, the back row is so competitive, and we just hope he gets a speedy recovery.
Just
Tell
saying.
me who's also impressed me. Right?
Huh?
Tell you who's also impressed me from the Prem.
Go on then.
Aaron Reid.
Aaron Reid, thank you. Oh, what a performance on that. I mean, it was Newcastle. Take that with a pinch of salt, but
his defensive
was sensational.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, just to make it a bit more juicy, if Duhan's leaving, Aaron Reid.
What? For Edinburgh?
Yeah, why not? Although, wait a minute, there's two ways you could do this. You could have like Aaron Reid come in as Duhan's replacement, or you put Wes Houston back to the wing and Harry Patterson gets more games at the fullback. Either way,
maybe.
I'm happy.
Okay. Right.
Just put that out there now.
Yeah. No, definitely. So Aaron Reid. Anybody else?
Anyone else I want?
From the Prem that you think might?
Gus Warr still had a really good start of the season. Finn Russell, obviously, because that's what Finn does. But
Gloucester as well.
Huh?
Good try you got against Gloucester as well.
Yeah, good try. Yeah, it was being checked for some reason, but it is what it is. Him shushing the crowd for the second year in a row. Love that.
Some people like to have a moan. I see so many people moaning about that afterwards.
It's a bit of fun. It's what we want in the sport. You want the big characters, and Finn Russell is one of the big characters. Just deal with it. Just accept it.
One of the biggest.
Can't say much about Northampton Saints this week, as much as I'd like to, because they got pummeled by Leicester Tigers. They were just not in that fight at all. So it's kind of hard to praise like the likes of like Robbie Smith, Rory Hutchinson.
Yeah. No, I've not seen that one yet. But I was speaking to Dave Overballs about it, and he was just like, nah, they didn't play good at all.
No.
So I might have to go back and watch that one. But
you go.
I think that it's going to be hard for them because they've lost a lot of players, Saints, and they've got the expectation of being champions. That comes with a target on your back. But then they've lost so much experience as well at the same time. So
I know it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I thought we've spoken about him a lot last week, but I thought Fergus Burke had a bit of a quiet game against Quins this week. So again, I know it's a new league, it's a new setup for him. So, but I do imagine he'll get capped somewhere in the Autumn.
You think he's going to get capped for Scotland, not for England, Fergus Burke?
Yeah. He's more game time. Gets more opportunity at Scotland.
Will he? I mean, because right now I look at the 10s coming through for Scotland versus the 10s coming through for England, and I actually think it'd be harder for him to break in as a 10 for Scotland than it would be, because who's got ahead of him? Finn Russell, Adam Hastings, Tom Jordan.
Well, that's one. Depends on where you put Tom Jordan for one.
Is he going to take Tuipulotu's spot off of him?
No, but like I meant for like Fiji, you could easily have Tom Jordan at 12 and have Sione on the bench. And do you know what I mean? Like to get players capped and all that.
If I'm Fergus Burke, right, and I'm thinking, right, I want to play at the highest level. That's my ambition. That's why I've left New Zealand and I've come to the UK, and I want to play at the highest level I possibly can. Right now, I have to use our Finn Russell. Or I have to use our Marcus Smith.
But that's what I was about to say. He's not getting ahead of Finn Russell, which we've all established. But he's also, if you flip it, he's not getting ahead of Marcus Smith. He's not getting ahead of Finn Smith. If George Ford's fully fit, he's probably not getting ahead of George Ford either. So it's kind of like you're pretty much third, fourth choice either way you look at it. His interview about it all doesn't help. He basically just said he wants to play international rugby. So it's basically first come, first serves is what I got from that.
Yeah. Pick me. Yeah.
Your name's Fergus. That's Scott. Just play for Scotland.
Look, no, I'd be delighted if Scotland captain. I'd be surprised, but I'd be delighted. For him personally, I'm not sure how much game time he has, unless Finn has another 3 beers in a hotel room. I don't know.
All I'm going to say is, just before we quickly round up, if you're going to cap Fergus Burke, actually use him and don't do what you've done to Ben Healy. Because I feel like he's came over and broken promises now.
Yeah, I mean...
the more I'm looking into it now, yeah.
You know what? I might have had a better chance of breaking for Ireland after Sexton went. He probably, looked at that game in Croke Park, and Healy would have had, he wouldn't say it out loud, but Healy would have had that what if I stayed at Munster? Could I have been starting there in Croke Park? Could I have forced my way in?
There's always going to be that what if, I feel, but I do, the more I'm looking, especially now, looking at the situation, I do think Ben Healy was given the whole, come over, we'll get you lots of caps, you'll be in the team.
Come on, son. Your mum would be proud.
Your mum would be proud of that one game against Italy.
Yeah, but look, that's the nature of sport. Healy has to prove that, he wasn't stupid. He would have known the challenges. He would have said, look, this is where we've got. You would have had Adam Hastings injured at the time. It's like Finn Russell's our number 1, so you're here to compete with Finn Russell, and you've got Tom Jordan coming through at Glasgow, and he would have been aware of Ross Thompson as well while he was at Glasgow. So that would have been laid out in front of him, clear as day, when he had discussions with the SRU, and he'll know himself at the time to perform. It's like if he outperforms Finn Russell, he'll get picked above Finn Russell. So it's down to him at the end of the day, really.
Yes. No, I agree with that, but just when you're looking at how it's fielding out now, that Adam Hastings, Tom Jordan balling out for 10, Ross Thompson's clear as day Edinburgh 10, and Ben Healy's over here. But it is what it is. I hope, like I said earlier, I hope the competition drives all the players to be better. So it's going to be interesting.
Shall we move on to the international scene?
Yeah, it's a silver. Every cloud has a silver lining sort of thing this week for the women, isn't it?
Yeah. So not so lucky against Australia.
To be fair, I have gone back to watch the game, and the Wallaroos have a new coach and a new setup. They were kicking ass, really, in this WXV2 tournament. They weren't good enough last year in WXV1 and got slaughtered each game. They got a new coach. They lost to Wales before the WXV2 tournament began, but new coach, new setup. It takes time. And now that they're in full swing of things, they've got the confidence, they've got the big wins. They were 19-0 up on us at one point, and it got to that point. It was just really hard for us to keep up, and to bring it in to within 9.
No,
I'll take that. But
you can be immensely proud of the women's team. It's they are now one of the better teams out there. I think nobody, even the Red Roses, won't think that Scotland's an easy game anymore. You look at teams like Ireland and Wales, that I think that the Scotland women's team's probably better than both them. The French will find Scotland a hard game, so it's definitely going in the right direction.
100%. Next Six Nations is going to be really fun, really interesting, especially the way WXV's worked. It's 6 months out before the World Cup. We have qualified, which is a big thing. Yeah. I'm excited. It is the biggest women's rugby World Cup ever. 16 teams. It's in England, so I'm going to try and get some tickets. I can't go to the final though because it is on my wedding day, and I don't think I'll be allowed to go. So, probably not be allowed to try that one. But yeah, no, women's rugby is on the up. We've got great talent coming through. Leah Bredner-Holden, she was sensational this campaign. Got her debut against, I want to say Wales in like the autumn series before the tournament started. She's only like 21, 22 years old. She's already pushing Katie Mattinson and Mary McDonald, so fair play to her. Lucia Scott played under 20s festival in the summer there this year, and now she's with the Scotland team now. So we've got the talent there, and it's so exciting to watch. You've got the experience, you've got Lana Skeldon, you've got Jade Conkle in the mix, you've got Sarah Bonner, you've got Chloe Rowley, who's arguably one of the best fullbacks on the planet. You've got a try-scoring machine in Francesca McGee, who's still relatively young herself. You've got a double Olympian in Lisa Thompson. It's a good team.
It's a very good team.
It's a very good team.
Definitely.
And I love it.
Congratulations to Australia for winning.
Massive turnaround.
I thought that we were going to retain it, but look, it came down to the final day. So look, they just proud. Do they go up to the XV1 next?
No, there's no promotion or relegation from it. So how it's done is it's based on how you perform in the Six Nations.
Oh, okay, right.
So to get into WXV1 from a Northern Hemisphere point of view, it's top three. The top three in the Six Nations, that's who goes to WXV1. Fourth place, WXV2. Fifth place has a playoff against like the Rugby Europe champion. Winner of that takes V2, loser goes to V3.
So it's who joins England and France, really.
Pretty much, yeah. And Ireland got that this year. So, and then like Southern Hemisphere, I believe it's the Pac 4. And it sounds really stupid because there's only 4 teams, but the top 3 are in WXV1 and fourth place is WXV2.
Okay.
So that's great. There's 3 tier competitions and they're all fun to watch.
Yeah.
More rugby. I love it. Yeah.
So let's cycle on to the men's. I don't know when, I've not seen it anywhere, but I imagine that, well, it'll be Monday by the time we release this, so I imagine that we should see Gregor Townsend pick his initial training squad this week.
I imagine Wednesday or Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
Just before Edinburgh and Glasgow name their teams for the weekend, I imagine.
Sorry, I missed that. Say that again?
I'm saying just before like Glasgow and Edinburgh name their teams for the weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's what it'll be. It'll be just before they come out. You're right.
So Glasgow will do their touring team, and everyone will be like, why is X, Y, and Z not there? Because the Scotland team's coming out like tomorrow. That's why. There you go.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do. What was it a couple of years ago when they did that random 9 a.m. squad drop?
Oh no, I hated it.
I remember going to work. I was like, "What?"
See, trying to be, you'll know now because you're on TikTok as well now. See, trying to be a content creator and team like roughly when teams are coming out, and then you wake up. Like for me, I'm getting the kids to nursery, and I look at my phone. User Scotland team, like I'm going to be at least 20 minutes late to discuss this. Like so, I'm instantly behind.
Oh, mate.
Straight off the bat. So, Gregor, if you're listening, Daddy Gregor, don't name your team at 9 o'clock in the morning. Or if you are, do it when the kids are off. Do it in the October holidays. Crack on.
Oh, mate, like I work well until 9. So, like, when I upload throughout the day, I've usually recorded all the videos I'm going to record for the next day, the day before. Yeah. I'll upload them, throughout the day. But when something like that drops, I'm like, oh no, I'm not. I by the time I've got home and that it's like 11 o'clock. I'm like, I now I feel like I'm constantly behind the curve for this. But
like, I feel bad. I didn't do a video on Scotland women this week because we were at the Edinburgh game, and by the time we got home, I'm like, by the time I talk about this, it's like it's old. We already know what teams are in the World Cup.
Yeah, that's
the
sports content, especially the rugby. a lot of the things that you want to do videos on, they go out of date really quickly. So
Yeah.
you have to get it out there. Like I've got videos for slow days, like some concept piece. You know how I've done the URC2 and the Rainbow, bringing back the Rainbow Cup and stuff like that. I've got so many of them that, you know, I'm like, oh, I like to do this, but there's so much more that it demands your immediate attention before it expires that you don't always get around to it. Right, so look, we're going to go for surprise inclusions. Now, to someone that only follows internationals, this probably won't be, or they won't consider it a surprise. But I think it's going to be a surprise call-up. I think we could see Hamish Watson getting his last caps in the autumn. I think we'll give him a final run out.
Okay. I don't hate that. A surprise would probably be Ben Healy at this rate. Honestly, if Ben Healy was in that squad, I'd be quite surprised.
Okay.
There's a bit in the back of my head that thinks Rory McConaughey from Bath is going to be in there because he was in a squad. He's been in a few squads and he's just never been capped. So I'm like, are you going to pull the trigger on this or where'd he go? Dan's away, so I'm just gonna keep rambling on. It's all good. Yeah, I think that. Where did you go? What happened?
Oh, my camera act up. I clicked the reset button on it, and I stupidly forgot that both my microphones in my camera.
Well done, genius. So, anyway, yeah, I think Rory McConaughey is one of those. Like, are you going to pull the trigger on it just to get him capped, or there was like. I mean, I was convinced from the minute Edinburgh signed him that Paul Hill was going to be in the Scotland team, but to my knowledge, he ain't eligible at all. He's played for England. He was born in Germany. So, yeah, to my knowledge, he's not.
He was. But what surprised me is I read somewhere we've only got him on loan, that he's not a permanent signing.
You told me this. I don't think it's a loan.
I went, when I was doing my URC prediction videos, there was a site I used that showed all the transfers of all the big teams. And one of the things I did is I went in and out all the transfers. And on Edinburgh's transfer list, they had him listed as a loan signing. I'm not sure if it's, the same way as Ali Price was technically a loan when he came in last year, and then they made it permanent, like a loan one option to buy. But he's listed as a loan.
We'll find out. But anyway, yeah, Ben Healy and Rory McConaughey is my big surprises, shall we say.
I don't think Healy will get called up. Not unless he turns around real quick.
Neither do I, but you said who would be a surprise. That's a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, like, will get called up that people will be like, oh, I didn't see that coming out. For me, I don't think it's going to be Fergus Burke, but,
I'm more... The more and more, the closer and closer we're getting, I'm like, yeah, we're getting Fergus Burke to get him capped, just to be like, he's ours now. Yeah,
look, I like it. I like it. Mish would be mine.
I don't hate it. I like Mish. I think he has got enough in the tank.
I'd love to see Ferry get called up, but I don't think that'd be a surprise. And it's the same like with Paddy Harrison. I'd like to see him get called up again.
I think Ben Lancaster might be a surprise. I'm really convinced. By Ben this season, so I'm all for it. He was in my team, if that means anything.
All right, okay.
Ben Abshire actually would be a nice surprise.
I think his trajectory, he deserves it. Look, he's still some way down the pecking order, but I think he deserves I remember watching him when BBC were playing the under-20s Six Nations.
He was one of the only shining lights in that team, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the only one. I think
I said one of.
Pathways gets a harder rap than it should. Like, don't get me wrong, it desperately needs to improve, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
No, it's not.
We
have got the youth coming through. We won the under-20 World Trophy. But it's second tier. It's still a World Trophy.
You're winning games by about 112 points.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
What else do you want? I mean, I like Amon at the best of times, and half the population like Amon even more than I do, Murray.
I'm in the minority in this one. I don't like Amon. I don't really like Monin.
Well, we'll see. Right, look, what we'll do is let's look ahead of the fixtures. I mean, we'll probably do this for the coming weeks with the autumn right around the corner.
Okay.
Realistically, how many out of the 4 games do you think that Scotland should be winning?
You're not going to like that.
This is where we're going to disagree on it. So go on. What should Scotland look? Let's go through what would be a good campaign, what would be a poor campaign, and what realistically we should be targeting. Like, go on. I'll let you go first.
I think we're more than capable of going 4 for 4. I really do. I'm not just saying that. Like, if I truly believe something, I'll say it. If I don't, I truly believe that we can. I'm not saying easily, but like Fiji, we already know we can beat Fiji.
Yeah.
Portugal, they're a new team.
Yeah. Well,
without any disrespect to them, I'm very excited to see them because it's new opposition, it's new players. But I am not worried about Portugal. No, Australia, they're hurting at the moment. They've got some good players. They've got some good tactics. They've got a great coach, but it's not all gelling yet. Cool. Yeah. Take that now. Take the Springboks. Why not? And it will put everyone on notice, and it will shut up so many haters from outside of Scotland.
The hype, if Scotland were to go and beat the world champions, the hype going into the Six Nations would be real. For me, I think 3 out of 4 has to be minimum requirements. Fiji and Portugal, like, no disrespect to either of those 2 teams, but Scotland should be beating them both fairly comfortably. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With Australia, you don't want to take your eye off the ball or disrespect them, or they will punish you.
Yeah.
Scotland are a stronger team than Australia at this moment in time. And they're at home. Look, I know that Joe Smith got a great record against Scotland, but still, you'd imagine we should be beating Australia. Now, South Africa, that's where it's hard. Like, we're good enough to beat them, but
I just want Duhan to speak
for that one. I think we're underdogs for the South Africa game.
That's fine. I'm all good for us being underdogs. It actually works in our favour half the time being underdogs.
My hope with South Africa, right? Obviously, I hope that we beat them. But if we were to win 3 out of 4, when we played the world champions, if we were competitive and we weren't blown away, like if even if we lost, if it was just by a score or so, I'd take it, right? Obviously, I want Scotland to go and win it, but what I don't want to see is, win 3 for 4, win the other 3 and then get blown out the water by South Africa and people go, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's the world champions. For me, that's not good enough. Win the other 3, beat South Africa if we can. And if we don't, at least have given them a game.
No, that's fair. I would take that. But, yeah, no, I want 4 for 4.
No, of course, I'd love Scotland to win the World Cup, but is it going to happen?
It'll happen. Don't know when, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
Maybe. Like, I hope it will. But
we will get our day in the sun.
Right. Okay. So we've been about an hour now, right? So we'll do 2 more bits. We'll pick our squads for Fiji.
Okay.
Just because that's outside the international window. And then after that, we'll pick who we play against South Africa, our strongest squads. Obviously, we'll exempt Andy Christie from it because he's not going to be available, unfortunately. But just, I want to put it out there right now, I would have started Christie against South Africa.
Oh, yeah. I'm the same. I'm in the same position.
In my strongest possible 15 for Scotland, Christie's in the starting lineup.
So... Right, so for Fiji, I'll go Sir Sutherland against Fiji.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you there.
Start Patrick Harrison if you're on. Johnny Matthews doesn't really make a difference. Either or.
I'd give the start to Paddy, and
okay.
I think Matthews is the better player, but I'd also want to protect him. So I'd probably bring Matthews on in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And give Paddy the experience. So I'd start Paddy for Fiji.
Again, just to protect them a little bit, I'd probably start. I'm trying to think. Darcy Ray would probably be, if it's outside the window, it would probably be Darcy Ray that would start in the 3.
Yeah.
With Xander coming off the bench. Second row, you can do Max Williamson with Grant Gilchrist. That's a nice blend of experience.
I throw Gray in for all of them because after November, he's not going to play for Scotland again.
No, I know, but I still think Richie Gray's like a first choice player. So,
It's only because I know that we're never going to see him again. And personally, he's one of my all-time favourite players for Scotland.
Okay.
But it's not been confirmed. But I'm pretty certain that he's off to Japan. And then once he's off to Japan,
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, just the timing. He's off in November. Just when the Japanese league starts. So yeah,
let's play Super Rugby or something. That'll be interesting.
So I'd start Richie Gray in both games.
Right. For Fiji, I'm starting Max Williamson and Grant Gilchrist. Just because it's like Max Williamson's good and Grant Gilchrist has that experience, and it's a nice new second row partnership that we might have to think of as well.
Yeah. No, I feel Williamson and Gray. Who's
back row? Back row's tricky. It really is. Because I'm trying to think, how strong do you actually go here? This is the issue.
You can't go too light because you don't want to get bullied by Fiji, right?
Okay, so, Ewan Ferry.
Definitely.
Ben Muncaster.
Yeah. Maggie.
And Magnus, yeah. With like Jack on the bench or Matt Fagerson on the bench, yeah.
Yeah, like Matt Fagerson and Dempsey they're performing so good with Glasgow. I'd still bring them on. I think the bench against Fiji is going to be absolutely stacked.
Could be like a bomb squad, a Haggis squad, even. There you go.
Yeah, the Haggis squad.
Haggis squad. Scrum half, I've got Jamie Dobie. Hands down, Jamie Dobie starts for me right now.
I'd play Velikop.
I like Ben Velikop. You keep barring this drum, and I don't hate it.
Just the type of player he is, with the experience he's got. I might play Dobie on the wing. I might play Dobie on the wing.
We do that, yeah.
Do what he does in Glasgow, but I'd start Ben Velikop.
Okay. I'm sticking with Dobie at 9. 10.
Adam Hastings away from Fiji.
Don't let Adam near a Fijian.
Get the witch doctor on the sidelines.
I'm going to. I'll start Tom Jordan. Get him capped. Get him in that team.
Oh, do you know what? Match up physically. Do you know what? I was about to say Thompson there, but that didn't even cross my mind.
Get Tom Jordan capped. Get him into the international scene. Get him non-set up. Huh?
Do you put him at 12?
I'll put him at 10.
Put him at 10.
10.
Yeah.
Tom Jordan, 10.
Bet. Yeah. Right. Who's your centre partnership for Fiji?
Centre partnership. For Fiji, I will go Stafford McDowell.
Mm-hmm.
With Masesi too.
No, I was about to say Hutchinson, but he wouldn't be able to play.
No.
It's only,
Stafford McDowell, Masesi Tupou to Sione on the bench.
Yeah.
The wings, I would have Darcy Graham getting back in the international scene. Get Darcy back up and running.
Darcy and Dobie for me.
I like that, but I've got Dobie at scrum half, so I'll need a new wing.
Darcy and Dobie.
Darcy, Rowe, and Patterson at fullback.
Ooh, I put Rowe at fullback.
I like that as well. But you've got Dobie on the wing, so
yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Is Mackay?
No, not yet.
No. See, I keep thinking that Mackay is
Six
Nations. Okay, right. Because I might have put Rowe on the wing if he was, but okay, yeah, I'll keep Rowe.
But no, I've got just to run through that again would be Suz, Paddy, Darcy Rain, Max Williamson, Grant Gilchrist, Ewan Ferry, Ben
Gilchrist,
Magnus Bradbury, Jimmy Bobby, Tom Jordan, Stafford McDowell, Masisi Tupuotu. Shit, I forgot it. Kyle Rowe, Darcy Graham, Harry Parsons. Yeah. Sorry, I swore you down. Sorry.
Look, mine fairly similar than that. I've got Vellacott at scrum half. I've got Dobie on the wing instead of Rowe, and I've got Rowe at fullback. I like the double scrum half thing that Glasgow do.
I like that.
Stacked, you'd imagine you'd have Schumann, Matthews, and Zander Fagerson.
So my bench would be Matthews, Schumann, Zander, Richie Gray, Jack Dempsey, George Horn, Adam Hastings, and then Kyle Stein.
No Tuipulotu on the bench.
Oh yeah, so Johnny, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, either way it works.
This squad for Fiji, right, that we put together. Who captains
it? Based off my team, Grant Gilchrist would captain that team. Or Stafford McDowell.
Yeah, Stafford McDowell, I was going to say for me. I was just trying to remember, did I start him there or not? Yeah. I'd give it to Stafford. He's got the experience. He's been a captain. And I think he's unlucky with where he plays. With the caps he does get for Scotland, I think it'd be, quite a nice message to send to him that, he's behind Tuipulotu, who's a generational player. And as good as Stafford McDowell is, he's probably not going to break past him. I'd give it to McDowell.
There you go. Sorted.
Who did you have? Sorry?
I said either McDowell or Gilchrist as captain for the Fiji game,
Yeah. I don't like Gilchrist as captain. I think he'll be a wee bit too hot-headed sometimes and gets himself set off.
I like
him. I think
I was just going more like off the experience. Like for a younger team, you need that experience to lead from the front. Yeah, that's why I went Gilco. But
no. I get why. Okay, well, let's move on because I got asked this on my comments today.
Okay.
Who I would pick as my strongest 15 for Scotland. So let's just pretend that we're playing South Africa this weekend.
Okay.
I think our front three, I think we're probably going to be the same. Are we both going Suz, Matthews, Schumann, Matthews, and Zander Fagerson?
Yes, Schumann, Matthews, Fagerson. I love the one, but not the strongest. Yeah, no. Shuri, Johnny Matthews, and Zander Fagerson is the strongest front three. Second row, I'm going all Greys. Why not? Johnny's back. Both Greys with Scott Cummings on the bench.
I go Gray and Cummings.
I don't hate that.
Richie Gray, Cummings. Yeah.
I don't hate
it. Again, I'm
going
he had the big mop that he had on his head. And I'm genuinely gutted when I saw he was leaving. It's an understatement. He starts for me throughout the autumn. Who's your back row?
Back row.
Now, I would have had Christie in there, and again, superior recovery to Andy Christie, but
I'm good. I'd go just because rules are rules, and Andy. It's Fagerson, Dards, and Dempsey.
Fagerson, Dards, and Dempsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fagerson, I think, is going to be that you remember by the when he retires. I think he'll be our version of Peter O'Mahony. He's just got that, proper hard bastard grit about him. I might leave that out.
That was a bad one. Daniel. That's fine. Yeah. Keep it in. Keep some more real. Some more real. Keep it in.
Darge. Yeah, Darge has to start. And Dempsey, like he is with age. I'm shocked that he's still like. Usually, you're starting to see slow decline by now, but he's just getting better. He is so good.
What was it I said? He scares me. He generally on the defense, on the attack, he scares me.
I watched him. It was weird. Like the Premier Sports zoomed up to him, at second half when he was walking out to the pitch, and he just had this look about him, like I hear he was going to tear Zebre up, and he did. He did.
I want sorry, just really off topic. I want Jack Dempsey to score a try against the Wallabies and do that. I'd love it. Scrum half. Scrum half's interesting though.
Yeah, do you go for someone who kicks, or do you go for a snipe? Ben Vellacott!
Not Ben Vellacott!
No, I like him, but I'm taking the mick.
George Horne, probably. It's a toss-up between George Horne and Ben White.
Yeah, now my only thing against saying White, and this is my own fault, is I don't watch enough top 14 rugby. So I've not kept an eye on his form, on how he is.
Well, to be fair, saying that, if we're doing it on like what I watch and what like form, I'd say Gus Moore would be in that conversation. Gus Moore's been insane.
Gus Moore should have been Vellacott.
I love Gus Moore.
Yeah. No, the thing is, look, I'm not totally against it. I just don't think he's proven himself at this level. South Africa's too big of a game for me to take that sort of risk on. So I'll go George Horne personally. Give it a season or two. Gus Moore could maybe force himself in. I'm happy to try him in the world champions.
Fair enough. Oh, that's fair. I like that. 10.
Finn Russell.
I do wonder. That was a pointless conversation to start. Anyway, redemption arc. No. Finn Russell, clear as day.
Finn Russell, yeah, all day long. He just
22 in the 12, clear as day. 13's getting very interesting.
Yeah.
But again, I'm still going Hugh Jones. I'm still going Shuggy.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before, but do we try to maybe crowbar someone like Hutchinson and or McDowell? Because Tuipulotu can play both 12 and 13
against the Springboks, though. McDowell, maybe I could argue. You could argue Staff, yeah, but Rory, that'd be interesting if you went.
Although, could you put in Tom Jordan at 12 and move Tuipulotu to 13 just for that extra distributor?
Or, again, Sione at 13, do you put Cam Redpath at 12?
See, I hate talking down on anyone. He's not, well, I'm not going to say he's not impressed me, but I just think we've got better players ahead of him.
Yeah, I just said two of them.
I'm sorry.
I just said two of them.
Yeah. No, you're right. I can't make we have to go Huey Pilotu.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I agree.
Who'd you go the wings?
The back three. This is going to keep changing every week.
I think the only one that we've got nailed on, Kinghorn starts the fullback.
Yeah, Blair at fullback.
Like certain games, I could tempt with putting Blair on the wing, but for that, Blair starts at fullback. Now, for me right now, if I speak tomorrow, Kyle Steyn is our best winger. He starts. I know you disagree with me on this, but
I didn't disagree that he was the best. I just think he's been more versatile, so he comes in handy off the bench. That was my argument.
That
was all.
Who's your right?
I really, really want Duhan just to score a worldie against them. Just to shut.
Who's more likely to do it though, Duhan or Darcy?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I'm still going to do Han and Darcy. I'm sticking with my guns on that.
I'm going to do Han and Stain. Big man, big man.
Okay, fair enough.
I think we may try a driving maul once or twice. You know how Glasgow, they like to throw the backs into it. I just think when you're throwing the backs into it, we're throwing Tuipulotu, Duhan and Kyle Stain into a driving maul. We need that bit of heft. So yeah.
Fair. Big man, big man. No, I'll go big man and lightning fast.
Lightning fast. Right. So Aaron Reid doesn't make your squad, no?
Not against Spring. I love Aaron Reid. Aaron Reid's been sensational, but not against the Bucks, no.
No, okay. Well, so we mainly agreed there. I mean, for me, Stain starts. I think he's got leadership qualities. He's great there. Like, the Springboks love to boot the leather off the ball, and he's our best aerial operator.
I'm just going to sign off on this one. If it's whether it's Duhan or Stain that starts, I'm not fussed because it's going to be great watching a South African score against the Box. That's what I want. That's all I care for right now.
Oh, both Stain and Duhan to score against the Box.
Give me Shuey, give me Duhan, give me Stain, give me who else we got? I think that's it now.
For Springboks, yeah, we've got WP Nell.
WP Nell out of retirement.
Jumps over the barrier, goes, let me at him.
No, either way, I'm happy. I'm confident we can go 4-4, and that's how that's all I'm saying now.
Right, okay, yeah. Well, look, there's our strongest 15. I think on that note, we've covered everything. We've run a wee bit over again. So, look, everybody, thanks so much for listening. We're going to try to do this weekly. Now, this is a community thing as well. We want to make this your podcast just as much as ours. So, look, if you feel there's anything that we've missed out of this or something that you'd like us to cover in a little bit more detail, let us know and we'll go over it. So,
drop us a message. Next week will probably be shorter because it's literally just Glasgow Edinburgh next week. The girls are finished for the year. They're not back till the Six Nations. So
yeah. So we'll leave it there till next week. Cheers, Murray. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah. Until see you later.